story of Daniel Marsh. On April 14, 2013, Daniel William Marsh brutally tortured, murdered, and mutilated Oliver Chip Northup Jr. and his wife Claudia Maupin in their Davis, California home. At the time of the heinous acts, Marsh was a 15-year-old with a troubling history of antisocial and violent behavior, harboring long-standing fantasies of becoming a serial killer. These high-profile murders significantly influenced the ongoing policy debate concerning the sentencing of juvenile offenders. Born on May 14, 1997, Marsh gained local recognition in 2008 for saving his father's life during a heart attack, earning him an American Red Cross Heroes Award at the age of 10. However, the following year, his parents' divorce, fueled by his mother's affair with his former kindergarten teacher, triggered Marsh's initial emergence of homicidal fantasies. These fantasies intensified at age 11 when he disclosed them to a therapist, leading to a diagnosis of adjustment disorder with a depressed mood. Throughout 2010-2013, Marsh's troubled adolescence unfolded. His substance abuse, anorexia, and hospitalization for an eating disorder in December 2011 underscored a deteriorating mental state. He cycled through various medications, experiencing feelings of derealization and undergoing involuntary hospitalization due to the threat he posed to himself and others. Into his teenage years, Marsh's violent thoughts escalated, coupled with substance abuse issues. Expelled from school in May 2013 for carrying a knife, he faced mental health challenges diagnosed as severe depression, anxiety, emotional disturbance, and anorexia nervosa. Forensic assessments varied, with experts labeling him a psychopath or sexual sadist, while others identified manic depressive disorder, dissociative disorder, depersonalization, and anorexia nervosa. Marsh's fascination with gore websites, animal cruelty, and violent fantasies continued unabated, leading to disturbing acts such as killing cats, strangling a cat in the street, and expressing a desire to kill a friend's dog. His demeanor remained detached, showing little emotion even in the face of his mother's neurological illness. This all led to the unfortunate tragedy in the wee hours of April 14th. According to Marsh's admission, on the night of April 13, 2013, succumbing to years of homicidal urges, he reached a breaking point. At the age of 15, Marsh resolved to act on his violent fantasies and take a life. The meticulous planning of the murders included strategic measures such as taping the bottom of his shoes to avoid leaving footprints, donning gloves to prevent fingerprints or DNA traces, and outfitting himself in all-black attire with a black face mask. Armed with a 6-inch buck knife, Marsh left his mother's house between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. on April 14th, scouring the streets of Davis for residences with accessible doors or windows. During his confession, Marsh revealed that he inspected approximately 40 to 50 homes before finding an open window at Maupin and Northup's condo, conveniently located 2 doors down from his father's residence. Slicing open the screen, he entered through the window, positioning himself in the living room until he heard snoring emanating from the master bedroom. Marsh followed the sounds to discover Maupin and Northup peacefully asleep. Standing over the couple's bed for roughly 10 minutes, Marsh observed them while deliberating on his method of attack. In his confession, he described feeling a mix of nervousness, excitement, and exhilaration. It was at this point that Maupin awoke, noticed Marsh, and started screaming. Marsh responded by stabbing her in the torso, and as she pleaded for help, he continued the assault. Even after Maupin's death, Marsh persisted, noting that her cries for help fueled his aggression. When Northup awoke, Marsh stabbed him until he was certain of his demise, recounting that the old lady just would not die. In total, Marsh inflicted over 128 stab wounds on the victims, with Maupin suffering 74 wounds, including 67 stab wounds, and Northup sustaining 65 separate wounds, 61 of which were stab wounds. Beyond the gruesome murders, Marsh mutilated the bodies, cutting them open, experimenting on them, and disemboweling them. He engaged in disturbing acts such as attempting to extract Maupin's eye, pulling fat from her leg and torso, and cutting open Northup's forehead out of curiosity. Further disturbing details emerged, including Marsh inserting a cell phone into Maupin's abdomen and a drinking glass into Northup's abdomen, actions he claimed were meant to disturb future investigators. Marsh expressed that committing the murders provided him with an unparalleled sense of enjoyment, especially when the victims were conscious and resisting. He likened this euphoria to a sensation superior to sex, and it lingered for weeks. Marsh retained souvenirs from the crime, keeping the knife and bloody clothing worn during the attacks. His intentions extended to planning additional murders, wandering the streets armed with a baseball bat. The intention was to deviate from the association with the stabbing murders of Maupin and Northup. Oliver Chip Jennings, Northup Jr., entered the world on April 26, 1925 in Grand Island, Nebraska. A veteran of World War II, Northup served in the United States Navy. He distinguished himself as a prominent attorney, earning his undergraduate degree from UCLA and his Legum Baccalaureus from Bolt Hall, UC Berkeley School of Law. Northup dedicated his career to the legal profession until his passing at the age of 87. It was at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Davis that Northup crossed paths with Claudia Maureen Maupin. Their union and marriage took place in 1996. Claudia Maupin, born on May 15, 1936, was a pastoral associate at the Davis Unitarian Church and an active participant in local theater. She, too, left a lasting impact on her community. At the time of her passing, Maupin was 76 years old. Together, Maupin and Northup blended their families, creating a joint family of 11 children, 14 grandchildren, and 8 great-grandchildren. Their shared journey encompassed a rich tapestry of community involvement, professional achievements, and familial connections. On the morning of April 14th, concerns arose when Maupin and Northup were noticeably absent from church, and attempts to reach them by phone proved futile. Northup's daughter Mary, alarmed by the unusual absence, attempted to contact the couple to no avail. Northup's absence extended to a local folk band gig, prompting his son Robert and a grandson to visit their home. Initially assuming Maupin and Northup were out of town, they left. Later that evening, Maupin's daughter Laura and the police visited the couple's home. Unanswered doorbell rings led to the discovery of an open window at the back, its screen slashed. Peering through the bedroom window, Laura observed bloodstains, leading to a horrifying discovery when the police forced entry. Investigators, including 25 FBI agents, faced a daunting task in solving the murders. Despite exhaustive efforts, no physical evidence, such as DNA, fingerprints, or footprints, was found at the crime scene. Marsh's arrest only came about after he boasted about the murders. On April 14th, Marsh confided in a close friend about committing the crimes, reiterating the confession the following day. His arrogance extended to describing the murders to his girlfriend, claiming it was a gratifying experience, which she initially doubted. Marsh continued bragging about the crime to friends, showing them items related to the murders, including the murder weapon and the clothing worn during the attacks. Suspension from school ensued when Marsh's friend reported him for carrying a knife. Marsh's girlfriend broke up with him on June 4th due to feeling intimidated, prompting a disturbing incident where Marsh entered her house uninvited. Fearful for her safety, the girlfriend confided in Marsh's friend, who then informed Marsh's father about the murders. Skeptical, Marsh's father did not believe the claims, but when the friend went to the police, an investigation began. On June 17th, Marsh was brought in for questioning, initially denying involvement and attempting to talk his way out. Sobbing and pleading, Marsh eventually confessed after 3 hours and 38 minutes of interrogation. He described the night in gruesome detail, admitting to hunting for a victim, breaking into the couple's home and standing over their bed, trembling with nervousness and excitement. Marsh graphically outlined the murders and mutilation, expressing a disturbing positive feeling during the act, which lingered for weeks. In an unsettling turn, Marsh disclosed his lack of sympathy or empathy for others and even outlined hypothetical ways he would kill an investigator. The culmination of his confession led investigators to Marsh's mother's garage, where they discovered the bloody clothing worn during the murders and the murder weapon, which Marsh had kept as souvenirs. Daniel William Marsh faced charges of 2 counts of first-degree murder with special enhancements for intentionally killing more than one person, demonstrating exceptional depravity, lying in wait, inflicting torture during the murders, and using a deadly weapon. Initially pleading not guilty, he later changed his plea to not guilty by reason of insanity. Despite psychiatrist Matthew Solier finding Marsh mentally ill but sane, the defense maintained the insanity plea. During the trial, Marsh's defense argued that medication side effects and mental illness triggered uncontrollable violence, rendering him temporarily insane. Prosecutors contended that Marsh, at 17, committed premeditated and carefully planned murders. The jury, after 5 weeks of trial, found Marsh guilty on both counts of first-degree murder and all special circumstances. They also determined he was sane at the time of the crimes. Sentenced to life in prison with parole eligibility after 52 years, Marsh, tried as an adult, faced a maximum of 52 years to life due to his juvenile status. The defense argued for 25 years to life, citing potential cruelty in imposing the maximum sentence on a juvenile. Prosecutors advocated for the maximum, emphasizing the heinous nature of the crimes. Reed, the judge, emphasized Marsh's pride in the crime, mutilation of victims' bodies, and attempted planning of additional murders in sentencing. Despite the 52 years to life sentence, California law allows Marsh to be considered for parole after serving 25 years, making him eligible at the age of 42. Senate Bill 260, passed in 2013, established a parole mechanism for juvenile offenders, granting eligibility after 25 years for sentences of 25 years to life or greater. We appreciate you tuning in. If you enjoy these true stories, Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest grim tales. Share your own close calls in the comments below, and remember, true tales can be truly twisted. Until next time, stay curious.